These are the two spacers I was talking about. They're 1 inch just little strips, but they're both the same thickness, and I'm going to lay them on top of the little circular grate that's in the skillet, and I'll put the muffin pan on top of it. So I guess on the directions of that muffin mix it says preheat the oven to 400 degrees. Well, I guess that's kind of what I've done here. Okay, that little bit of water I dropped in there is all gone, so I know it's over 200. So now I'm going to put a couple leaves in there and see if they ignite. Then I'll know it's too hot. If they're not igniting, but they're just a little brownish, then I'm figuring that's around 400. Okay, I got a couple of little scrub oak leaves in there. I'm going to put the lid back on, and I'm going to check it. And if they're not burnt, I'll know it's not over 400, which is all I really care about. I'd rather do a slower cook than have the muffins get too hot. Okay, I picked up the grate with my hay hook, and what I'm doing now is just going to knock down these coals a little bit, put the grate back on, and once those flames go away, I'm going to put the turkey on. Yeah, I got the turkey on the cool side of the fire, but I'll keep an eye on it. And I just put a little broth in there too. So if it starts bubbling too hard, I'll take it off and just let it cool off a little more. And then the muffins are just about ready, so I'm going to be putting them in here too, so I'll be keeping an eye on both things at the same time. Okay, a couple leaves got pretty black. Looks like one actually burned up over there, and then I got another one over here that's still not. So I'm thinking it's right in the neighborhood of a low 400s, because that one definitely got over 450, but that one's under, so I think it's okay. We're going to go for it. Beautiful thing about this cast iron is that once that iron gets hot all the way around, it cooks all the way around. And with this much meat in there, I mean, we're almost to maximum capacity in this thing, which is actually perfect. The fuller they are, the better they cook. I found that out. That's why the smaller Dutch ovens are great for meals. I mean, this is a pretty big meal too. So, you know, 2 chicken breasts and 2 drumsticks and thighs, plus all the veggies. But, you know, the bigger ones, if you've got too much empty space in them, well, you're concentrating the heat in one area. You can see I put some of that fresh small chunks on the other side of the pit to get it really hot, so that if this side over here cools off, well, it'll be the hot spot I slide the Dutch oven over to. But I'm going to have to keep an eye on it, because it looks like it's the old part of the fire is kind of reactivating a little bit, so I don't want it to get too hot. I might have to take this thing off and set it on one of the trivets till it cools off a little bit. Okay, I did take it off a little bit. It was starting to bubble a little hard, but remember one thing, when you take these things off the fire, they don't stop cooking, because that cast iron is still hot. So it's just moderating a little bit. So I'm going to put it back over on there once those flames knock down a little bit. When I've got the disc on the pit, I always leave a couple corners, like in 120 degree locations, so I can chunk a little piece of 1x2 in there to get it going again a little bit. Because my wife decided to add a little bit of corn kernels into the muffin mix, which is pretty neat, but it wasn't quite ready. So this thing was cooling down a little bit, so now we're just going to get it back up to heat again, and then we'll put the muffins in there. I've got the Dutch oven facing pretty much north-south, so what I'll do is I'll rotate it around, so what's east is west and what's west is east. Do that so that if one side's a little hotter than the other, it kind of evens it out. Let's see what it looks like now. Yeah, it's going nice. I think a little bit hard. I might take it off just a little bit again. It's starting to move along. I don't think I'll have to put that 12-inch trivet in there today, because that grate's about 10, 11 inches off the coals, so it wouldn't really make any difference. If anything, I'd put the 6 in there if it took longer and the fire was almost out. But I don't mind adding a little bit, because it makes it warmer around here too, because it's still pretty cold out today. Okay, we use this mix right here. We like it, but we always add something. And my wife put in some yogurt and some little chunks of corn in there too. So it's going to be a little more moist, and that, you know, hey, that can't hurt the way we're cooking here. But it's the skillet's ready, so I'm going to go put it over in there on top of those little blocks and start the countdown. Okay, if you can see what I did here, the little cupcake pan is definitely up off the grate by about 3/4 of an inch. I got these blocks of wood turned up edgewise. Oops, a little hot. And if I put the lid on it and I start to see some smoke coming out, that means that wood's on fire or it's starting to smolder, so I might need to let it cool down a little bit. But we want to make sure it's warm enough. It's supposed to be 400, so I'm thinking it's real close. Okay, skillet on. Okay, I'm gonna have to go check the turkey again now. Okay, boy, that really smells good. You can smell the apple and the onion and the turkey and everything all mixing together nice. So I might actually slow this down a little bit here and then take it off for a couple minutes and put it back on again. Okay, I saw a little smoke over there. I just want to make sure it's not that wood. No, it's not the wood. It's just something from the fire underneath. Okay. Okay, now it's just a matter of a little time. I sure hope this time next year I'll be cooking this meal on our little cook stove in our cabin. But, yeah, I'm sure he'd like it. A little warmer in there. Maybe a wood stove going. But right now this is just fine. Oh yeah, that smells wonderful. They're starting to rise. I think everything's going good. I know it's not good to take the lid off too often, but I don't want anything to burn either. I've had that happen before. Okay, they're looking pretty good, but just like anything at 8,000 feet, it has to cook probably 25% longer than down at sea level. That recipe, that box is from North Dakota, and they're pretty much sea level or maybe under 2,000 feet, I'm sure. Okay, the turkey's been in there exactly an hour, and it's 125, 130 degrees, so maybe another 40 minutes, half hour. We'll check it again another half hour. The wife just gave me a little shish kebabber, and nothing. Okay, they're done. They came out perfect. That one that kind of overflowed, I just tasted that, and that was good. And this little test, you know, got a little charred, but so I'm thinking 425 degrees, something like that. So who says you can't do this on a fire? Okay, I just rearranged some of the pieces of turkey a little bit. I'm going to let it sit in here for another half hour, just like this, and then we're going to put the thermometer back in it again. Okay, I just moved it over to the other side of the pit. It's a little warmer over there. And I just checked the weather forecast again, and it's going to start snowing about 10 o'clock tonight, and not quit till for 24 hours, so I think this was a good call. I didn't want to go through another day like yesterday. It was a little too cold. Okay, at exactly an hour and a half, we're about well, it looks like it is 165 degrees. I think we're almost to 170. Okay. Well, an hour and a half. That's pretty good. Of course, we're going to take the meat out, drain off the juice and make some nice gravy. Have some mashed potatoes, some sweet potatoes, some cranberry sauce, all the regular stuff like everybody does. But it's on the campfire. This is the third year we've done this in a row. Hopefully next year we'll be in our cabin, and we've got an old-fashioned cook stove that we're going to use. Okay, folks, as usual, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have an especially nice Thanksgiving, and I appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe. You know, share this with some friends if you don't mind. I always appreciate that. Thank you very much.